First of all, it's time to say a hearty thank you to all those viewers who have been visiting and liking and subscribing these last few posts of mine. That cheers me up, gives me the motivation to continue. I plan to make more and more videos in the near future, and the more subscriptions and likes and views I get, and the more suggestions I get by way of comments on this post, on this channel, the more enthused I will be. This particular post will be targeted at those who are older ex-students of mine. In particular, those who are about my daughter's age and slightly older, those who are almost finishing college and about to enter the job world or planning to go in for higher education or looking around for one sort of employment or the other, whether they want to take up a job, whether they want to start up a new business, whether they want to prepare for certain competitive examinations. Again and again, over the last many decades, many of them have been coming back to me to say that they're not really very satisfied or focused on what they really want to do. A lot of them went into college simply because peer pressure or parental persuasion worked heavily on them. And this is not just about those who have or who are becoming doctors and engineers. It's also about many others, those who have those who once decided to specialize in one of the pure sciences, those who went in for some kind of art or fine art or liberal art or social science. Many of them, by the time they are finishing college or about to go for a postgraduate degree or a PhD, they feel lost and confused and uncertain about where they want to go from here. Now, for them, I have certain tips to give. One is that you made a mistake already if you went to college just because your friends were doing it or your parents said that this is the right thing to do. Far more often than not, they are wrong. If what you are doing does not gel with what you basically like to do, does not really interest you, that profession will never give you full satisfaction. If on top of that, even the material rewards are not very good, then it will be very disappointing, very frustrating. A few years and a lot of ex-students already tell me that they are so tired and bored and stressed out and basically unhappy doing what they're doing. Now I tell them, why did you make such a choice? And then what happens is, after college, many of them, they either switch lines completely. My daughter is right now doing a course in a certain new university near Delhi, where it's a liberal arts program, but it has attracted students who have backgrounds in law and in commerce and in engineering and even medicine. They are trying out something new because they have already decided that what they were doing throughout college did not offer really very satisfying careers. You can also see that a lot of boys and girls come out of engineering college and then go on to study some sort of pure science or economics or an MBA degree which has very little to do with engineering, or sit for the civil services qualifying examinations and things like that. That makes it very clear that they were not interested in those 4 years of engineering in the first place. They did it because everybody told them that you need a BTech degree as a basis of your higher education. Now, if this is the kind of mindset with which people go into the job market, then it is very certain that the kind of jobs that they will get will not be satisfying, will not be rewarding, and as usual is the case, in general, the vast majority of jobs are not even really very well paying, and therefore very soon frustration and boredom is bound to set in. My advice to these people is, first of all, to think very clearly and carefully about what you like and what you want to do before you go to college. And after finishing college, give yourself time. Give yourself time to experiment, to explore new avenues which you might not have thought of earlier. And a lot of people suddenly discover that this is what they wanted to do, which might be very different from the honors course that they covered while they were in those 3 years or 4 years of college. So if a person is finally interested in say writing books or making movies or starting up a business of his or her own which has nothing to do with the engineering course that he or she did, well, that's fine. From the owners of FITG and NIIT to those who set up Flipkart to people like Chetan Bhagat and people, you know more names than I do, Nagesh Kukunur and people like that who They were engineers and they are doing things now which has virtually nothing to do with the professional studies they did in college. And why not? What is wrong with it? A lot of people suffer from great anxiety and insecurity when they are planning to make a change like that, simply because they have been following a routine, they have been plowing the same groove for many years, and now suddenly, when they are planning to make a change, they are very frightened because they don't know whether they will be able to cope with a whole new basket of different kinds of skills, different kinds of occupations, different networks, different sorts of people to interact with. Now, when that happens, it is very natural that people will feel insecure and uncertain. But assure yourself that exploring new avenues when you are still young is perfectly all right, and very often it is the best thing you can do. Give yourself time, give yourself opportunities to explore, to experiences to acquire, and there's no harm if you don't immediately get into a job at the age of 22, or even if you do, it should be an experimental job. Find out what the job world is like. Yes, it feels good. As my daughter herself says, it will greatly boost her self-esteem that she is earning a salary of her own. But the majority of my listeners here are not people who are desperately hard up, who have to start contributing immediately so that the family can make both ends meet and keep their heads above the water. Now, given that, they should use the opportunities that fate has provided them to find what is right and good for them. And if that helps a person to decide, all right, I started out to be an engineer and I'm ending up as a lawyer or a writer, there's absolutely no harm with that. And if he or she is 30 or 32, by the time he or she has found his real calling, his métier, so to speak, and he or she can say for the next 10, 20, 30 years of working life that I'm really doing what I have always wanted to do and what I've always been good at, well, that is the best kind of career decision a person can make. And these days, people live long, so a lot of people will be active beyond 70. So if it takes you till up to 30 to decide that this is what I really want to do, then that's absolutely fine. So long as your parents are not desperately dependent on you for the little money that you send home every month. I know a lot of people among you are such that your parents will be able to support you till you are 30 or beyond. Take the time and make the best use of your time so that a few years down the line, maybe 5 years, 10 years after you have left college, you will be able to say to yourself, the most important person in your life, yourself, that you have finally found your calling and you are happy doing what you're doing. Because if your working life, which consumes the major part of your day, day after day, all through the year, does not give you satisfaction, you will be in the end a very unhappy person, even if you're located in a good place and well married and earning a good salary. It will not give you the kind of satisfaction that you have been looking for. That's all for now, but I will come back to this topic again. It's endlessly interesting and there's endless things to say about this.